What's up, guys? It's the Essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And you guys are tuned into Caught
In Conversation.
Shaka Laka Laka. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 122 of Caught in Conversation. As always, I am the Essential John L. Crossfire, and I sound a lot more enthused in this intro because... Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. I'm stealing her job, but she's finally back. The sensational, the lovely, my wife, Miss Nova Lee.
And I'm also the co-host.
Yes,
Just saying.
yes. We've missed you here on Caught in Conversation. So, I am the Essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And if you're listening to this episode, you'll notice that we even just updated the little blurb before the official intro, just so you know what you're listening to. Shaka Laka Laka and all that jazz.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to release a Shaka Laka Laka shirt at some point if they start doing well, because we just did release For the Marks, By the Marks t-shirt, and now that we've rearranged our lounge room, Nova, we can actually... I can, turn my head and look at you without having to completely move my head. And
we can actually get caught in a conversation.
The microphone's still picking up my audio. It's not all, echoey and awkwardly. I just almost burped in said microphone, but we're here, we're back. The reason you're here, Nova, is just because, one, we missed you, but two, you've got to do your job of announcing the song and match of the week, but also, we're just here to do a little bit of a health update. As of this, and obviously your health is still going. You're just waiting more than anything at the moment in terms of what you've got going on. But we just got back from Sydney. I finally had 2 more stitches come out, but I do need to correct myself. And I did put a post up on my Crossfire page correcting it. But a year ago today, I had 2 stitches taken out of my eye, and I'd literally forgotten about those stitches. So the total of stitches that have come out now is not 4. Like I said on social media or in the video on the vlog, which go check it out for all the full info. But I've had 6 stitches come out in 800, and I think today's day 841. So that's a thing. But yeah, I forgot that I did have 2 extra stitches come out. So the Facebook post, I originally said it'd be March 2026. It'll actually be December 2025. And again, it could be sooner. That's me knocking on wood. Could be later. But yeah, if the plan goes ahead to do 2 more stitches every 3 months going forward, it's going to be December 2025 when they come out. Not March, because I somehow forgot that they took 2 out last year to go today, and then the memory came up, and I was like, oh, that's right. And I think that's kind of what started the problem, because unfortunately the understudy that took it out didn't... I don't think he did it properly, because I remember the moment I saw the memory, I remembered, oh, wait, I thought that he took more out because he stabbed my eye for a solid 10 minutes trying to break the sutures. But yeah, they come up. Turns out 6 stitches have come out of the 16, not 4, but it's still a long...
10 to go.
Yeah.
10 to go. 10 to go.
But I'm here with Rey Picante. It was a very fun conversation. You kind of...
I was sad that I missed it.
You obviously haven't listened to the conversation back, but I basically went over the clip notes, and you were like, son of a bitch. You were like, damn it. You actually kind of wish I had...
I keep getting sad that I keep missing all these cool people.
Yeah, well, this is, I missed... We had Barry Blake, we had CJ Young, and now Rey Picante. That's 3 episodes in a row we've had to miss you for, Mrs. Crossfire, but just, again...
Oh, shit.
You're having health issues yourself. We're trying to do this quickly and knock it out so you can actually go take your meds and pass out. But as I record this episode, I'm hoping, I don't know because technology is not my friend, but this episode should be on Patreon tonight as we record this. Obviously, you listen to it on Spotify and all that, it'll go up on the Sunday. But I've been talking to DPC and we got some ideas, and we'll release more info on social media just so we don't do it, just so that I can write it out and not butcher it here. But we've spun some ideas, and I think we've got 4 tiers in mind, which I think should work. Yeah. But yeah, do you want to do the song of the match of the week, Nova, before we...
Alrighty. So for episode 122, your song of the week is Pedro, Pedro, Pedro by Jacksamy and I'm going to butcher this. Agatino Romero?
Yes, Agatino Romero.
Remix.
And it's a remix of Rafaela someone. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but yeah,
yes.
It's the Jacksamy remix. And of course, if you go to Rey Picante's Instagram, you can actually click on it and it starts playing while you're scrolling through his photos. And that's very MySpace, and I don't know how to do that. So I'm going to have to get someone to show me how to do that because that's so cool.
You'll have to hit him up.
I'll just but see, that with my ADHD, I'm going to change it every week.
This is true.
But the match of the week, Mr. Overlee.
And the match of the week is Nick Nemeth versus Josh Alexander. An Iron match at TNA Emergence 2024.
Unfortunately, Miss Novalee, you are yet to see this Iron Man match because you did see the match leading up to this where they went to the 30-minute draw and the fans wanted 5 more minutes. Josh Alexander said no, kicked Nick Nemeth square in the ding-ding. And then once Nemeth was on the ground, Alexander was like, all right, 5 more minutes, let's go. And, TNA, Santino Marella said, nah, we don't do this around here. And they made it an Iron Man match, and they went 60 minutes. And if you want to rewatch it, let me know, because I will definitely rewatch this, because this was phenomenal. It was awesome. It was one of my favorite Iron Man matches I've ever seen. And granted, I'm biased because I'm just a massive mark for Nick Nemeth, but this was a very beautifully paced match, especially fitting of the Iron Man stipulation. But I really enjoyed this conversation with Rey Picante. We talk about the little spoiler alert going into this conversation, but just some context here for Novalee. Rey Picante is the younger brother of Valito. He always dreamed of being a professional wrestler, did Rey Picante, and Valito actually became a wrestler just to spite Rey Picante. He said, you know what, that's a great dream, and because I'm older, I'm going to beat you to it. So he's almost like it's not second generation because that's father and son, but in a weird way, it's like, it's almost a reverse second generation in some sort of weird way, even though they're the same generation. But you know what I mean? Basically, Rey Picante wanted to be a wrestler, so Valito, with brotherly love and brotherly spite, kind of just wanted to beat him to it. But I am very excited for you guys to hear this conversation. But yeah, the health is going well. It's slow and steady. I've just completed 122 kilometers when the goal was 50 for Fred Hollow's restored site for up to 5 people. My shirt is still coming in the mail. There's been some delays in that, unfortunately. But as of this recording, I've just done 4.2 kilometers today. Obviously, it's the 6th of September as I record this intro, and it was a few days ago, almost a week ago, actually, that I had this conversation with Rey Picante by the time this is going out. But I'm obviously doing the 9-kilometer walk for the World Suicide Prevention Day on September 20th, which I've been talking about. But actually, last night, I decided to sign up for another 50K walk, and I'll be doing 50Ks for the month of September for Camp Quality. So obviously keep a lookout for the socials and keep a lookout for the YouTube channel because I'll be posting my weekly updates on that. And just donate if you can, share the link if you can't. But yeah, Miss Novalee is going to try and join me on these walks. And I feel like it's good because for the Fred Hollows one, I kind of just took off because you were dealing with health issues. But I think now we're at a good point where we could probably, give it a crack, because I've only done one day, and you've probably, because I haven't actually been, I've probably done more than 4 because I don't really track my steps. I only track my steps when I'm actively going for a walk, whereas Novalee, you're probably at 10 kilometers already this week, and so you're probably ahead of me. But yeah, we're going to do that. I'm trying to raise money. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers the bases. 2 more stitches came out. They want to see me every 3 months and take 2 out at a time, and hopefully they do more. But yeah, slow and steady wins the race, but currently the time frame is December 2025. It's a struggle. It's frustrating. My eyes are in so much pain right now. I did do a Twitch stream today, which probably didn't help, but at this point it's either I watch something or play something or stare at the ceiling. There's literally, those are the alternatives pretty much. But
so far this week I've done 3.6 kilometers. Which is
that can't be right.
That's it.
That does not seem right, because we did walking and stuff in Sydney. Unless the GPS was playing up because we're in the city, because we all know what Google Maps and stuff are like when we're in the city. Anyway, this is just us spitballing, but if you'd like to quickly just introduce Rey Picante for us all, Mrs. Crossfire. So first of all, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. I love this setup. We can look at each other. I can still reach my soundboard. Life is good.
Alrighty. The up-and-comer, based in Victoria, Rey Picante!
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with one of Melbourne's newest mass marvels, Rey Picante. How are you doing this evening, my friend?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing?
I mean, look, I'm bored as shit. I'm waiting for a pay-per-view to start. I had everything set up, and I just thought, hey, I'd reach out to the hottest new thing in wrestling to try and get those ratings up.
There we go. About to have a party up in here.
I hope so. Miss Novalese ditched me. She's meant to be the co-host, but she's in the room watching SWAT on Binge instead. So, cheap plug there to people that have Binge, I guess. But I'm just sitting here. I've got my on-air light on, and now I'm on air officially with Rey Picante. And I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know much about you. You're very new on the scene, but I've been watching. My one good eye's been on the socials, and the fact that your mask is so brightly coloured helps my blind ass see you, so I appreciate that.
I'm really glad because I can't see anything through it.
Well, there you go. Now you know how I feel. I always ask the same not the same 5 questions, the same 4 questions, and then a fun fact question, and whatever comes up, comes up. But for people that have been on the podcast for the first time, I always ask the same ice-breaking question. So if this is something that you've talked about before elsewhere, then I apologize. But to break the ice, Rey Picante, what is your earliest wrestling memory?
The earliest wrestling memory for me would be when I was younger. My brother, who actually is a wrestler as well, the Supercharged Valito, cheeky plug there as well. When he was younger, he used to have all these action figures and stuff. And me being the young lad Picante that I am, I used to think that they were dolls, and I'd play with the dolls, and we'd just go from there.
Dude, the funny thing is, though, Ray, that's very much how I got into wrestling. I had an older cousin who, at the time, had a Nintendo 64 because I'm old. They had No Mercy, which is one of the most, looked at upon wrestling games as one of the greatest wrestling games of all time. And he had a bunch of WCW figures, and he also had a bunch of WWF figures. And I didn't know that they were 2 separate things, but I knew who the NWO were, and I knew who the Undertaker was, and I knew who Steve Austin was. And I just became hooked on wrestling for the same thing. So that's kind of cool. We share that in common. Not only can we not see worth a damn when we're in the ring, we also love playing with dolls, I guess. Playing with dolls. That's going to be the name of the episode, I think.
Who doesn't like playing with dolls, especially wrestlers? Good fun.
But at what point then, as you mentioned, your older brother Valito, who truly is a mass model, I'm a very big fan of what he does. But at what point did you decide that you wanted to get into the business, and was there a specific deciding factor that drew you to the business?
I'm going to do another cheeky little plug here, actually. So when I was in grade 1, my dad said to me one night, he's like, Ray, we're going to go visit Nan and Pop. I'm like, cool, let's go. I was so excited. We drive past my Nan and Pop's house, and I started crying. He took me to a local wrestling show for the first time, PCW. And that day then, I'm like, I'm going to be a professional wrestler. I told Valito, and he's like, guess what? I'm older than you. I'm doing it first.
Oh, so Valito stole your idea.
I called him a dream stealer for the next 5 or 6 years.
Oh, wow. I didn't pick Valito to be that kind of person, but I guess the more you know here, I guess, every family has their skeleton. But was there a particular match on that card that made you ring a bell, or particular wrestlers on that card that drew you in?
Definitely Daniel Swagger. He was one of my all-time favorites at PCW. Nate Cross and Tyler Frost, the Elements at the time. Who else was on that card? I think Wake might have been on that card. Mark Cage was probably on that card. There's a few for you there. Tricky.
Okay. That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah.
So, but basically this term kind of gets thrown around, but almost the Melbourne royalty for that time period. Those are some hard hitters there.
Yeah, definitely.
But how did you react when you saw your brother debut?
Partly annoyed. I was partly annoyed and partly jealous because I was still too young, and that's what I always wanted to do. but it was the coolest and scariest thing in the world to see my brother dressed up in a mask and a superhero cape at the time, running around like an absolute idiot, and then getting thrown across the ring.
Now, when you were a young Rey Picante, did you imagine wearing the mask, or was that kind of just influenced by your brother and his attire?
I never wanted to be masked.
Okay.
I hated the idea of it because I already have quite bad vision normally. And then when that mask is on, it's so much harder to see what you're doing.
Oh, okay. Yep. See, I've wore a mask here or there just for like, shits and gigs on commentary, and I made sure that I had the ones with the eyes cut out. And even then, like, the peripherals were terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Really hard to block a punch coming for your face when you can't see the punch coming for your face.
Yes, you block it with your face, which obviously is not the intended outcome there. But was there a particular match of your brother's, Valito, that sticks out in your mind? And have you ever been worried, actually, before I go into that question, have you ever been worried, because he's been doing some pretty hardcore shit lately, have you ever been worried that, like, about his health and his safety doing this kind of crazy sport that we do?
Definitely the most recent AOW show in Collingwood, the one where he versed Hex in the main event.
That's kind of what I was alluding to.
That one was terrifying.
Obviously, I haven't seen the full match yet, but I saw some highlights online on Instagram the night of, and it looked pretty damn brutal. Were you there? Were you there in attendance for that one?
Unfortunately, I was not, but I have seen the full match. I've seen all the footage and stuff, and I do not understand why. Like, I understand him and Hex do not like each other at all, but I don't understand why he was willing to put his mask on the line, why he was willing to put his body through that much pain just to cut a bit of his hair off.
That's fair enough, but I guess that's his cross to bear. Do you think at some point, like you said, you never really wanted to be masked, but you did it kind of as a tribute to your brother, who I guess did it just because he wanted to, because he thought it looked cool or something. But do you think that this mask will be something that you will want to pass down eventually? Like, we'll get El Hijo, to Picante at some point? Like, is this something that you'd like to be a goal, or if that was to ever happen, you'd want them to not have the mask?
I've thought about this because I know for a fact in the future I would like to have my own children, and I've decided they have to enjoy wrestling. That's a priority. If they choose to do it or not, that is up to them. I'd like to eventually be able to pass the mask down, but if they do not want to accept the responsibility and the legacy of Picante at that time, that is up to them.
I suppose in a way, when you look at it though, they do actually kind of have to earn it as well, I guess. You don't want to
100%.
Just hand it out to them. But is there a specific match of your brothers that stands out to you that kind of, completely even more took you by storm with the, wanting to follow in? I mean, I don't know, is he even really following it in his footsteps if he has stolen your dream? That's a paradox amongst itself. But is there any matches of him or of his where you've watched and gone, hey, like, I want to have a match like that?
I would definitely say the 3 stages of hell against Adam Crow at an APW show. I can't remember the exact show it was off by heart, but it's the one where he eventually won the Breakout Championship.
Ooh, I'm going to have to go scour through both YouTube and or IWTV, depending on which show it happened on, to see if I can find that. That's a cheap plug there for Adrenaline Pro, but okay.
It was definitely a main show. I know that much.
Okay, yep. Well, I'll have a look through the archives when I get a chance, and definitely check that one out, because he's a bit of a, I guess, problematic character, but I do enjoy the talent that Adam Crow possesses. It's just a shame that he has such a big ego and attitude that comes along with it. But that's another conversation for another day. Obviously, I'm very good friends with DPC, and I don't want to discourage his family in any way.
Yeah, let's avoid that one.
Yeah, I don't want to be copping a super kick from one of them at this point, just like he did for whatever reason. I guess
those super kicks look painful.
But yeah, just he's an interesting character, I guess, or I guess interesting person. I guess different would be the word to describe Adam. And Emilio's just weird, but he's again very very talented, and I have nothing but respect for what they do. But do you hope to? I know you're currently teaming with your brother, but do you hope to face him perhaps in the future?
Eventually, I definitely do want to have a match with Bolito. I do want a little bit of payback and maybe a couple chops for stealing my dream in the first place. But I think it'll all be out of brotherly love at the end of the day.
I have an older sibling who is a sister, but my two younger siblings are both boys. I've always wanted an older brother, which is, weird because, I had an older sister and there's nothing wrong with her. She's cool. She's one of my best friends, but I always kind of just looked to my older cousins in that, brotherly role. I just wanted someone to look up to. But do you not find it like flattering in a way that the person that you're aspiring to be like, in a way, was inspired perhaps by your dream, or perhaps wanted to even make you proud?
It's a bit of a double-edged sword, honestly, because at the start it was never a thing to make me proud. It was a very much the way he said it, the fuck you, I'm older than you, I'm going to do it before you kind of thing. But what he has done has been absolutely incredible. So I do have to respect all of the struggles he's gone through in wrestling, all of the successes he's gone through in wrestling. He has done a lot in the business in the past 9 years. I believe he's been a part of it.
That's fair enough. I can, as I said, I'm technically an older brother and a younger brother. I'm basically the middle child, I guess. But I can see both sides. But just tell us a little, Ray. Tell us about when you actually did start training, because as I said, you've only been fairly recent on the scene. I'd say pretty recent, really, that you actually made your debut. But tell us a little bit about your training and then what led up to your initial debut.
So I started training on Boxing Day of 2022, I believe it was. Still technically too young to train, but because I've been around the business long enough, they were like, we'll give it a shot, see how you go. We had to sign a whole load of paperwork saying that I'm allowed to train and all that stuff, and my parents had to sign all that, whatever. So I started training at APW, so the Adrenaline Pro Wrestling Academy. And when I first started, I was training once a week or twice a week. Most of the time it was once a week. Eventually, I started training twice a week. From there, I went to training for 5-6 days a week. So I went all in on this. When the Alpha Monster Lab came around, I would also occasionally go up there, which was quite a trouble for me. So yeah, I started training up there as well. And eventually, Bolito came up to me and he's like, do you want a team? And I'm like, yes, let's do it. So then I debuted on June 8th, so 3 months ago now.
That's still a fairly quick turnaround time. What's that? December, January, February, March, April, May, June. That's 6 months. I can't believe I had to freaking count that off the top of my head, but it's late night when we're recording this, so please forgive me. 6 months is still a pretty decent turnaround for a rookie. So you've obviously still shown a lot of potential to your coaches for them to, obviously, your big brother had influence, but they've still got to sign off on that. So that honestly, I commend you for that, Ray. But just a little quick question before we go into it, just because, again, I have ADHD, so the questions might go all over the place.
So do I.
Timeline might jump around, but did you also train with the mask on at EPW in the Monster Lab, or did you train without the mask?
Majority of the time I had the mask off because I didn't actually have the mask until the week of my debut.
So Bolito is definitely the leading cause to you wearing the mask, and you weren't kidding.
Yeah. So I had nothing. I didn't have my name properly sorted out. We were throwing around a few different things. I didn't know if I wanted to keep it as Ray something, or if I wanted to go Ray something else, like was throwing Ray around a lot, and then was throwing out the middle name, like the last name, quite a lot as well. So it was a whole lot of just mixing and matching Ray with different names and Picante with different names, trying to work out how we wanted to present myself.
And you just eventually landed on your shoot name of Rey Picante, teaming with your
And
brother, Polito Picante.
Yeah, pretty much. So I didn't get all my costume and stuff properly done either until like the week of the show. So it was very last minute. And so I trained in the mask maybe 3 times before my first match.
Oh, wow.
So not fun.
So I think maybe a little bit more training before we eventually get that showdown then with Velito, because I've seen he can throw some. And I know that, you know, people look at the mask and they think he's going to do like a bunch of flips and stuff, but I've seen him throw some hell-raising strikes from his kicks and his punches. And so you're definitely going to have to get used to that mask and feel it out then, so you can try and, you know, feel him out and see him coming.
It's funny. Whenever people talk about Velito and his strikes, I always think of, you watch The Simpsons, yeah?
Yes.
Or you have?
Yes.
You know the scene when Bart gets kicked out of Lisa's room and he starts swinging his arms around like, if you get hit, this is your own fault?
Yes, and I'm just going to swing around, and if you get in the way, yeah. Yes.
That's what I picture with Velito.
I could see that, though. I could see that, yep.
Yep, that's how I see his strikes. Just throwing them and hoping for the best.
But
he does have the experience to do it, so it's okay.
Definitely does. But run us through your debut, Ray. Like what? Like obviously nerves were a factor. Like I got nervous. The last show I did recently, I did commentary, but for whatever reason they gave me an entrance, which is still mind-boggling for me that I got my entrance, and it's so weird hearing my music play when I can't currently wrestle. But I like hearing my music play. Like somehow made me more nervous because it had just been that long since I'd heard it. But what was you like backstage, you know, waiting for your music to hit, and then when the music hit, and just run us through like what you can off the top of your head from, you know, start to finish of your debut. Like what was it like, the atmosphere and just the feelings and emotions and et cetera, et cetera. I'm a professional interviewer, I swear.
Okay, this is gonna be a long one. So the day before my debut, there was a breakout show. So I went to go watch that. Went to my friend's house for the night because their house was closer to Pipeworks Market where the show was being held. And I was up until about 1:30 getting tan. My first time ever tanning. So we did all that. And then I went to sleep, woke up at about 3:30, 4 o'clock and threw up. I'm like, nice, okay. So I've already thrown up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Couldn't go back to sleep. So I'm like, you know, I'll go to the venue nice and early. I'll stretch. I'll run the ropes. I'll warm myself up, whatever the case is. Got to the venue at about 9 a.m. So I was there until the start of the show and throughout the whole show. The first time I put my gear on backstage, I started panicking. That's when the anxiety and the panic attack and stuff started to really kick in. Music hit. All of that fear just disappeared. It was crazy. Like, you're shaking and you're panicking. As soon as you go out through that curtain or up those stairs, whatever the case may be for the show, it's all gone. Went through the match. Unfortunately, we lost. I took the pin, but Velito tried to help. We did the best we could. The Grey were just a better team that day. Started crying in the ring. I felt like I'd let Velito down so bad because he put all of this faith in me. And I'm like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Ultimately, we lost. And I started crying in the middle of the ring. I was like, I've let you down. I'm so sorry. We hugged. We got backstage. And I just started crying again. It was very like an emotional roller coaster.
You, then. Very bittersweet for you, Ray.
It's unfortunate, but it's the business. You win some, you lose some. And I was just an emotional roller coaster. I was up and down all day.
You never really like, and again, like my career, and I hate like talking about it because I feel like I'm trying to put myself over, which I'm not. But my wrestling career only went like 3.5 years before my eyeball almost fucking exploded, and now I've been out of the ring literally longer than I had actually wrestled to begin with. But like, there's been matches where they kind of just, I don't even remember them. And like, it's not that they were good, it's not that they were bad or indifferent, it's just that for whatever reason, they just don't stick out. But I can damn near my debut, I can pretty much put move for move. Like I was out there for, I think the match went for like 13, 14 minutes, but including everyone's entrances, I was out there for like probably 24, 25 minutes, like start to finish. And I can pretty much picture that damn near like moment for moment, clear as day in my head. And it's just this weird thing. And I think a lot of people I've talked to have actually said that they're very similar with their first match. And some of them look back at that and cringe. And yeah, there's part of me that cringes at some of it. But how do you, like, because obviously you're still very fresh, right? It's been 2 months since you officially debuted. So, a year and 2 months. I'll correct that. A year and 2 months.
No, I've only actually wrestled since June of this year.
Oh, June of this year. I thought you said June of last year. My apologies.
Yeah,
I
can debuted 3 months ago.
3 months ago. Okay, so then it was a year and 6 months that you debuted. My bad. I thought you said that you debuted 6 months after you started training. I promise I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm a professional interviewer. Okay,
it's 11:36. Okay.
Yes. God damn it. Okay. Well, that makes it a bit better. But of the handful of matches that you have had in that little bit, in that 3 months, 2 to 3 months, how does it feel like thinking back on that moment though? Like, are you still proud of your performance? Like, would you be proud to kind of, put it on like a highlight DVD or YouTube video or something?
I have put it on YouTube. Because I want to put all of my matches up on YouTube for everyone to see how I've gone. And it's really crazy to look back, watching that first match to watching my most recent match. For the first, I would like to say 3 weeks to a month after that first match, I refused to rewatch it. I didn't want to, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, we lost. It was my first match. We should have won. I could have done this better. I could have done that better. And I just didn't want to watch it. And then I rewatched it, and I'm like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I think the issue is I tend to be my world's worst critic, where everyone says, this was good, this was good, this was good. And I'm like, they were okay, but this was bad, and this was terrible kind of thing.
I think most wrestlers are just programmed to think that way, though. Because it's like, I was going to do this, and I forgot this, and it's like, the fans enjoyed it, shush. So has it only been the one time that you've rewatched it, or have you rewatched it back a couple of times more since then?
I think I've watched it 3 or 4 times.
So, okay,
I'd like to say 3 or 4.
The actual question that I was trying to ask before I got all fucked up on dates and whatnot, my bad, again, ADHD. But the question I was trying the question that I was trying to ask was like, what the general consensus, like what feeling do you get watching it back in hindsight?
I'm a lot prouder than I thought I would be, I think is the best way to put it.
No, I 100% understand that, yeah.
I'm proud that I was able to get in the ring when a lot of people can't do that or won't do that. I'm proud that I got out in front of an audience when normally I'm the shyest person in the world. I'm proud that I got to stand alongside my brother. So it's definitely more positives than negatives. But I just wish we got that win, and I wish I had, even though it's only a little bit more experience now, I wish I had the knowledge and experience that I have now back then in that 3 months ago. Like, that's crazy. Because I feel like it would have been a lot more competitive, and we may have even beaten the Grey.
Does you just mentioned you're a bit of a, I guess, well, you didn't use the word, but I guess the way you just described yourself, you'd be considered an introvert, yeah?
Very much so. When I'm not in front of people, I'm very to myself. The big thing though is the crowd seem to love me and Valito. They seem to get behind us. Their cheering and their clapping and their chanting is what like overcomes that fear and that anxiety. Because no matter how scared or whatever you are to do the match or do the show or whatever the case may be, that energy that you're receiving from the crowd, you have to make sure that they're happy. You have to make sure that they know that you hear them. And I think that helps overcome that introvertness, as you're saying.
So I know, as you said, you didn't really want to have the mask and you kind of did it just because, it matched your brother, and your team. But do you think in a way that the mask helps with that, or like does it boost your confidence because your face, is covered to an extent?
I reckon so, yeah. I think the fact that the crowd can't see my face and can't necessarily recognize me when I'm not wearing the mask helps a lot, because I can't lie. If I was out at the supermarket or whatever and someone came up to me and they're like, Ray, I saw this match, and all this stuff, I would have a full-blown panic attack in the middle of the store.
Yeah, and again, being your own self-critic, you'd just go to all of the things that in your mind you'd messed up, even though they're complimenting you on, 20 other different things. You'd focus on that. But why? I did this. And they're like, no, but yeah, I 100%, I get that. So no, there's times where I wish I could just, put on a mask and disappear. But, that's another rant for another day from my therapist. But just, I guess, in a way, like, it sounds so fucking cheesy, man, but I've literally just watched Deadpool and Wolverine like 2 days ago. So
I watched it today.
Well, there you go. So do you think in a weird way, like, do you think, and maybe, I don't know if you can really speak on his behalf, but do you think for you and Valito that putting the mask and the cape on and all that, it kind of almost is like a superpower, let alone the rush you get from the crowd on top of that?
I reckon, once again, I can't talk for Valito, but I reckon that no matter what we put on, we can wear whatever we want to wear. We can wear our tights, we can wear our tighty-whities, we can wear our capes, our hats, our whatever we want to wear. I don't think that changes us necessarily. The thing that changes us is that energy from the crowd, is that reaction from the crowd, is them clapping us, is them chanting us, is them asking for pictures, asking for autographs, buying merchandise, whatever the case may be. That's what powers myself. And I reckon Valito is the same, but once again, can't talk for him.
There is something like, and like, I don't want to be like a supermark, and obviously you're in the business, you're trying to make a name for yourself. But dare I say, like, to quote, the current WWE Universal Champion, Cody Rhodes, when you get that like adrenaline in your soul, it dude,
something Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, yes, but the adrenaline, like, it really does. There's been times where I've been booed, I've been cheered, but regardless, when the fans are on, when the on-air light is on, dare I say, for this podcast, as I look at my little light across from me, when that light's on and the adrenaline's pumping, it's a very, very special feeling, and I'm kind of jealous of you in a way, Ray, because I have a younger brother who's actually just turned 18, and he keeps telling me he wants to start training. And obviously, as I get closer and closer to hopefully getting cleared, I picture myself wrestling him and teaming with him, and I'm very I don't know if jealous is the word to use, because jealous is more of a negative thing, but I'm just very envious of you and your brother, because I'm really just admiring seeing you guys do your thing together, and it's very heartwarming to see, I guess, is the point of that rant that I was trying to make. But it's obvious, and I love that you guys have the fan support as well. Like, look, I've warranted some boos in the past with some things that I've said or done, but there is no feeling like walking through the curtain and just having all the kids and, just wanting to high five you and, yeah, take the photos and sign it. And I know that sounds very vain, but it's just a weird feeling that, look, I've smoked some devil's lettuce here and there, which I don't condone, kids, but nothing compares to the rush of a crowd is the point I was trying to make. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I thought your name was Crossfire, not Mark. What is this?
No, but no, it's very good to see because some people, I don't want to just sit here and be like they have the it factor and this and that because it's just my opinion, but some people just have it, and obviously being associated with Valito helps, but you've got something that the fans are gravitating towards, and I'd say whatever that is, try and figure out what it is so that way you can just harness that shit. But I've got like a little, again, I'm ADHD as hell, so just a little side question. I know Valito has been talked about this on podcasts with DPC and other people about the amount of different sets of gear that he has, because it's ridiculous the amount of sets of gear that he has and like all the custom gear. But with yours, obviously you've only got the one set currently, but was there any like meaning behind the color scheme of your tights and your mask?
Let's see. The gold kind of represents the king part of it, because Rey Picante actually translates to King Spicy, believe it or not.
King Spicy. I love some spicy food.
I hate spicy food.
Whoa, there's some. All right, I think we need to do oh my God, I just had $1 million idea. I don't think we'd be able to fit every single word that's in an actual dictionary, because screw that. But some sort of wrestling dictionary. And when we have I for irony, we have a picture of Rey Picante and then we have a little cartoon of him vomiting from eating spicy food. Someone make that an actual thing.
Someone make it, I'll buy it. 100%.
Oh, so King Spicy, but he hates spicy food. Wow, okay, but continue. Colors.
Yeah, so that's what the gold came from. And the purple doesn't necessarily mean too much. I was going through colors with my gear designer because someone helped me design it. I'm not creative enough for that shit. So I was going through different color schemes, what works with gold, what doesn't work with gold. Spent about a good week or so playing around with this guy, just passing along messages, calling each other, trying to work out what colors work. And I'm like, wait, I'm teaming with Valito. I should probably get a color that matches one of his colors. So then I had to include him and go what color schemes do you have? What works for you? What doesn't work for you? Whatever. And purple stuck out. It matches with the gold. It looks nice. Valito has purplish gear. So we're it just works, doesn't it? That's all it came from, really.
See, I'm kind of glad because I don't know about you, but I'm a big basketball fan. I'm a Chicago Bulls fan. When I first saw your gear, my first thought was actually the LA Lakers. And I was
a little bit, yeah.
And I was just this little dude is on my bad side now, because there's always the LeBron versus Jordan debate, and obviously LeBron famously now has played for the Lakers for quite a number of years, and I was just hang on a minute, I thought we were going to have an issue, but okay, turns out I'm just creating scenarios in my head.
It was my OCD needing us to match. And that's what it came down to.
I tell you what, though, I really appreciate that, because the amount of tag teams out there that you don't have to have the same tights or the same trunks, but if you're not at least cohesively matching colors, why are you even teaming? If you're thrown together by management or whatever, then that's fine. But if you actively go, hey, we're going to be a team, and you don't look like a team, it pisses me off. It's a really big pet peeve. It's almost as bad as referees that don't tuck their shirt in. It makes me just want to punch them. But that's another story for another day. Maybe I need to actually see a therapist and talk about my aggression towards these little wrestling tidbits.
Dr. Picante is in the house.
So that's a pretty cool. I love that explanation. Though you went, okay, the gold for the king, and then, hey, shit, Valito, what you got? And how long did that take? You said it took about a week or so for you and your designer to go back and forth to land on the gold. How long did it take you to land on the color with Valito? Because he has so many different colors and designs to choose from.
It's not even the amount of different colors and designs that Valito has. It's Valito does not know how to answer his fucking phone.
Okay.
would never answer you. And I'm like, screw it. I'm going to go through your Instagram and find a random color that I like. And then you're just using that gear now.
You know what, though? I feel like in a roundabout way, we come back to the beginning of the conversation where he's going, fuck you, I'm going to steal your dream because I'm older, haha, just because he's the older brother.
Yep.
And then you finally come full circle, and he, to his credit, he wanted to team with you. That's awesome. But for you to kind of just take charge and be like, nope, this is my dream. I'm here now, motherfucker, put that on. I kind of, honestly, I fuck with that. I respect that.
Sibling rivalry.
Oh, definitely. As I said, I've got 3 siblings. I've got an older sister, 2 younger brothers. The sibling rivalry is very strong within the realm of the House of Crossfire.
It's great.
I actually had one of them yell at me while I was doing commentary one night, one of my brothers, and I was just like, Jesus, man, like, I'm just doing my job here. You paid a ticket. Why are you yelling at me? Yell at the wrestlers.
He's a paying patron. He can yell at whoever he wants to yell at.
But,
except for the other fans. Don't yell at the other fans.
No, definitely don't do that. But Rey Picante, as I said, I mainly just follow you through the power of the socials, and as toxic and cancerous as they can be at times, I really enjoy the good side of that, and that's watching people grow from the ground up. So although I'm aware of you and have been following you for a little bit, I don't actually know how many matches and the specific matches. Like, I know of a couple. Like, I knew of your debut, obviously, against the Grey. The Grey are a very formidable team, and I've seen that. But how many matches have you actually had off the top of your head? You don't have the exact number, that's fine. But how many shows? I
have it all written down.
Oh, good. I didn't write mine down until I got injured and I had to write down 3.5 years worth of shit.
No, I've written it all down. ADHD and OCD as fuck. I've had 6 matches in 3 different promotions
since debuting, and you might as well say like 2.5 months, 3 months. Oh, I guess, yeah, because as we record this, it's literally the 31st of August, so we're going into September. It's literally the 1st of September in 10 minutes as we record this, so you might as well say, 3 months. That's
yep.
So 6 matches in 3 months. That's still pretty good, because a lot of people only go once a month. Like, literally, and they'll do 1 match. That's 12 matches a year. So you've pretty much doubled that already by average. But out of those matches that you've had, this is a professional podcast, and I asked this question to every single fucking guest, and for some reason I still botched it. Out of all of the matches that you have had, Rey Picante, what is your favorite match that sticks out?
Oh, I already know this one. Alpha Energy 6. It is currently available on the Alpha Pro Wrestling YouTube, and eventually that match specifically is going to be available on Rey Picante's YouTube, which I'll cheeky plug properly later. But anyway, so it's Alpha Energy number 6. It was the 13th of July this year.
Yep.
It was Let's Freaking Go, Bro. So myself and Valito versus the main character, Will Walker, and the young goat Kobe Reed, CGS.
Oh, okay. And this was like just before he stopped being Valiant too, in terms of Kobe Reed, wasn't it?
It was his first match back, I believe.
Oh,
after
his first
he
match
came
as Kobe Reed. Okay, well there you go.
First or second match as Kobe Reed.
That's almost
first
like
match
a
back
little,
after breaking his hand.
That's almost like a little like feather in your cap as it is, like, because we've all seen. And I've actually had him on this podcast, so go back and listen to that cheeky plug. And even since then, he has become an entirely different person. And again, it feels so weird because I've only met him in person, like the one time. I may have been twice. Only one really sticks out. But like the fact that I don't even know this dude, and like literally all I really had was a hi bye and telling him that I loved his like new tights that he was wearing. But just watching him grow through socials and like talking to him here and there just about wrestling on socials, it's like this weird thing where, and maybe I'm looking into it more than fucking he does, but like I'm maybe not an older brother because we're not close, but I'm looking at it almost like, because there's an obvious age gap between he and I look at it almost like an older cousin where I look down on him, and I'm just so fucking proud of like how far he's come. And even Will Walker, who I've never met, it's just ridiculous. And I mean, all of CGS really, Rochelle Rogue, Charlie Rose, 4 just top tier talents, untapped talents in this country. But that's another rant for another day. We don't want to sit here and put everyone else over. But no, that's a nice little feather in your. I said feather in your cap, but I guess feather in the mask. Would that be more like accurate to say?
Fool. I don't even know. Maybe a little sparkle stud on my gear.
Sparkle stud on the gear, but no, that's cool. But yeah, now just the reason I brought that up was just like, fuck, now that he's like changed his name, I might have to get Kobe Reed, the young goat, on court in conversation and just kind of go through the journey of how and why he killed Kid Valiant and then he killed just Valiant. But yeah, another story for another day. But yeah, walk us through that match, Ray, and tell me, like, you know, what stands out about it that makes it so special for you?
Big thing for me is, as much of a prick as Kobe Reed can be, he is a phenomenal wrestler. He has toured Japan. I'm pretty sure he's gone to New Zealand. He's currently in America. He is a top name. And even Will, I saw him debut at PCW. I've seen him from the young, brass, 16-year-old lad that he was, the most egotistical prick in the world, couldn't stand the guy, to what he's become now, where he's a former MXWSN champion, he's a former DMDU tag team champion, he's the current APW breakout champion.
Yeah, just won that just this past weekend as we record this, actually.
A week or two ago, yeah. The most recent breakout.
I think a week today, actually. Because today is technically Saturday, that's right. I know the days of the week.
There's too much wrestling, I don't know.
But it's crazy though, like as you say, again, not trying to put myself over, but it just I draw the comparisons because I'm like, I wrestled in 3 states in 3.5 years, and I was like, okay, cool, that's still more than a lot of people. But now Kobe Reed has wrestled in 4 countries in 4 or 5 years, and that's cool for me to see and watch for him. And I know that you and him, and again, I guess CGS kind of clash because they have a different attitude, but that's gotta make you feel special enough that you could still be in the ring with someone of that caliber.
We ended up losing that match. They had to cheat to beat us. That's my first thing I'm extremely proud of. They could not beat me and Valito clean. With the experience that Kobe and Will have, they were unable to beat me, who's still a newcomer, and Valito clean. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if we were to win that match, imagine me being able to say, I defeated Kobe Reed and Will Walker. That would be a big moment. Unfortunately, though, we lost, but I think we put up one hell of a fight.
That is a very, a big thing to look at, though, because, you say that they cheated to win, to beat you, and et cetera, but even just from going, hey, you lost your first match to the Grey and you were very heartbroken, and to even grow that much of a performer to someone of that caliber, not only did someone cheat, someone of that caliber having to cheat to beat you, that already in the couple of matches that you have shows growth as a wrestler, as a performer. So I think that's something, again, maybe put another sparkle stud on the gear, but I think that's something that even in defeat you can hold your head high, because that's a very big deal, at least in my, for whatever my humble opinion is worth.
It's worth nothing.
Oh man, Rey Picante just shooting on me on my own show here. God damn.
No, it really does mean a lot. And since I'd started training, I'd always said I wanted to slap some respect into them. And I definitely sidewalked some respect into Kobe for about 10 seconds, and then he went back to his normal ways. But once again, you can't fault the guy. He's an incredible wrestler, an incredible performer, very young still. So it does make sense that he is a bit big-headed at times because of how amazing he is.
Yes, definitely. It's just one of those things where, he's a supremely talented wrestler and we all know it, but unfortunately, he also knows it.
Yep.
That may have killed my chance of getting him back on the show. I apologize, Kobe. No, but
I don't.
Hey, you're the one that's got to wrestle him, brother. I'm just an announcer nowadays. I ain't fighting Nobody, unless someone steals the last chicken nugget, and then we're going to throw down.
I'm, I'm just a professional interviewer.
What is your favorite match of all time, Ray Picante? Both that you've
My
seen
favorite.
on TV and that you've seen live. You can name a couple. You can name a couple if you can't pick just one.
One, it's not my favorite match, but it's a match that means a lot to me. WrestleMania 30. What is your guess?
Ooh, I don't know, because that was a very give and take show, and I'm not a fan of who won the main event, but that's just me.
The match that meant so much to me in that show was Undertaker and Brock Lesnar.
Yep, okay. Bro, that still pisses me off. It's been 10 years this year, and I'm still like, why? Why?
Yeah.
My emotions.
So that match was a big emotional match for me because growing up, I was the biggest Undertaker fan in the world. And I remember, you remember the guy's face, like the shocked guy's face?
Yes, Edris, I think his name is. I actually follow him on socials after all these years because he literally became famous because of the memes.
I did that face times about 1,000 watching on the TV at home.
Oh, I did the
and then I
exact same,
pulled my eyes up.
I was watching it on my computer, and I was just like, my jaw just dropped. And I remember my dad at the time was like, he was like a very casual wrestling fan by that point, but he came home from work and was like, oh yeah, so who won? Da 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 da. And I was like, oh yeah. And he's like, what? He's like, they ended the fucking streak. What the fuck, Vince McMahon? And he knew nothing about like the way that things go within WWE, but he knew enough to be like, why? Why would you put Undertaker in that position?
The person I always said should have beat the streak was either, as much as I hate him, I do love him at the same time, Roman.
Right, see, Roman's my boy, and I was like so mad when Batista won the Rumble, not Roman.
Either Roman should beat the streak or Bray Wyatt.
Dude, especially when you look at the match, and it's been a year now since we lost Bray this past week as we record this. You go back and you watch that WrestleMania match that Taker and Bray had, and the shape that Taker had got himself back into, it was like 2004 Taker all over again. It was just incredible to watch.
Yes.
But no,
100%.
100%. I can see that. I just recently played the showcase in 2K24 WWE because I only just not long got the game very recently, just due to medical bills and stuff. I wasn't able to get it until now. And like
I don't think I have it still.
Going back and watching like the cutscenes because that's one of the matches, and have Corey Graves break it down and stuff all over again. I was like mad all over. I'm like, no, why did they do this?
Yeah, that's what I was like the whole time. I'm like, this is not good. This is not good shit.
But see, that's what I love about professional wrestling is the emotion. And as I said earlier, like I'm not going to sit here and claim to be some sort of grizzled veteran or whatever, or an expert, but I'd like to think that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to professional wrestling. And as I said, you and Valito, both of you obviously have something that draws emotion out of the fans. So definitely try and hold on to that as much as you can. But you've been around wrestling your entire life for the most part. And so whether there to support your brother or whether just to be there at a particular event, just as a fan in general, what are some of the matches that stick out to you that you've seen live?
Oh, I can't remember all the matches on the show, but I remember this one PCW show that still stands out. The night ended with the Supremacy holding all of the titles. So that was Nash Carter, Mark Cage, Tom Philippe, or Philip, however you want to pronounce it, and Chris Trio, I believe it was. And Daniel Swagger, Tricky, down in the ring, knocked out. I think Nate Cross was there as well, knocked out, and just Supremacy holding all of the titles. That is massive in my memory. What other big things has happened that I've seen live? Oh, there's a lot, but I also can't remember many. Obviously, when Crash won the APW heavyweight title. That was big.
Yeah, very, very recently. I'm yet to catch up on that show, but I'm probably going to do that actually in the next week or so.
Yeah, so that was a big one as well. When Valito won the breakout title, that was a big one. I need to watch more wrestling.
Were you in the building when Valito won the breakout title?
Yes, I was.
And like, I'm not trying to, start anything here. Like, I'm just genuinely curious. Like, and again, maybe jealous isn't the word, but seeing your brother live, your dream essentially and win that title, were you a little bit envious in that moment? Like, must have been again a mixture of emotions of being proud, but also being maybe a little sad. Like, tell us, walk through that moment. How was that? Like watching Valito, get the victory, but just holding that title up for the first time. What was going through Rey Picante's mind?
I wasn't mad at all. I wasn't upset at all. I started crying. As we've heard multiple times already, I'm very emotional. Because Valito has worked so fucking hard and he's gone through so many obstacles, so many rings of fire to be able to hold the breakout championship. I was crying. It was a big moment as his brother.
I find a lot of admiration in that, I'm sure maybe deep down there was probably just like that little feeling of, oh man, I wish that was me. Or it could be me. But the fact that the majority feeling was you more being proud, it's a very big, I don't know if I say it, like it's a very big step, I guess, as a person, growing into now being a performer. That's a very big step to take to be able to compose yourself and look at that situation in a rational light.
Oh no, there's definitely a part of me that wanted to jump that barricade and chop him 100 times and then pin him. But there's definitely a part of me that wanted to, but I couldn't.
I think we've made the joke earlier about like playing with dolls at the beginning of the podcast, but I think we've found an actual name for this episode. I think I started crying because it's been coming up a couple of times. I think that's going to be the name of the episode. I started crying with Rey Picante.
I started crying.
But
emotional wreck.
Emotional damage. As we kind of wind down these last couple of questions, Ray, this is one there I've had people answer in multiple different ways, and this is entirely up to you. When I wrote this question, it was intended to be just super marky because the new tagline for this podcast is "For the Marks, by the Marks," and then obviously the description is ranting, reviewing, and marking out. So there's lots of.
Wait, I thought the tagline was "I'm a professional interviewer."
Yeah, I'm a professional. That'll be the next shirt. I'm a professional interviewer. But I always ask, and you can be realistic or you can go crazy and say anyone dead or alive if you want. But the question is just written as, who is your ultimate dream opponent and what is your dream stipulation?
Oh, ultimate dream opponent in the ultimate dream stipulation. I've only got one answer for that, and I've thought about this for a very long time. I'm very realistic with this stuff. I'm not going to sit there and say good old Chris Benoit in a submission match because that doesn't make sense.
Fair enough.
I told you I'm going to get a bit hectic here. My ultimate dream opponent in the dream match is Rey Picante versus the supercharged Valito in a death match.
Damn, like I knew your brother was probably going to be on that list, but death match. Oh, see, you seem too friendly to put yourself in that environment, but I guess I thought the same about Valito, but as we discussed a little bit earlier, he did kind of go down that path with Hex, so...
To be honest with you, keep very close attention to next Alpha show. I'm going to do a cheeky little plug here, and I'm really sorry to interrupt for the 50th time already. But
hey man, this is your episode. Go for it.
It is going to be Let's Freaking Go Bro versus the Grey, one final time. Losers split. Now they beat me and Valito in my first match, our first match as a team. And then they had the audacity to come out and challenge us after my first win at the last Alpha show and then attack us So we retaliated by stopping them from cheating against the physicals and stealing good old Mason Stoneheart's chain. And
good old Mason Stonehenge. Stone thingy.
good old Mason Stonehenge and his chain.
No, I'm very big fan of Mason Stoneheart, though. Like, again, he's a supremely talented guy, but just kind of gets around the wrong people.
He's a cheater. He's a dog. And we're going to make the grey fade to grey. The fun and games are over. The dancing is over. The Pedro is over. The tacos, all of it. We are going to beat the grey, and we are going to make the grey fade to grey, and they will never team at Alpha again.
Wow, very strong words there from Rey Picante. And I guess you kind of, in a way, I don't want to try and skew this and make it seem like you guys are taking advantage or anything, but as I think about it, you guys kind of have a leg up at the moment because, everything that's going on with Alpha and Manos, who is the leader of the Grey, that could be a very big distraction for Hugh Sands and Mason Stoneheart, in my opinion. So you guys might just... I don't know, just me spitballing and throwing things at the wall here, but just go back a little bit before we get to the very last question and then go into the plugs, Ray. What was it like for you getting your first win?
It was surreal. We used our good old move that we've been working really, really hard on. We call it Taco Tuesday. It is basically a cutter and a top rope foot stomp combo.
Okay, nice.
And I got the pin. We won clean. I got the pin. It was Valito's 300th match.
Wow. Okay, that is cool. That is hectic. 300 match, and he got to celebrate it with a win with his little brother getting his.
And then we got
win.
attacked.
That's again bittersweet, very bittersweet.
Yeah.
But see, because for me, I debuted on my 23rd birthday of all things. I won, and I actually went on a bit of an undefeated streak before I was low blowed, and then I just went on a massive losing streak, and I developed maybe a bit of an attitude problem, and maybe you losing in your first match and having to fight and crawl and coming this close with CGS before they cheated, and then finally getting a big win. Maybe that's why you're so humble. Maybe I just did it wrong. Maybe I should have lost my first match. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have tried as hard.
We also skipped a few matches in between.
This is very true, yeah.
Yeah. I've had a few singles matches.
What was it like your first singles match? Like, again, nerves are obviously a thing, but for me, like I did a couple of tags, a couple of scrambles, a couple of four-ways. I was probably, I was only like 5 or 6 matches in, but I had a little bit of experience, and then but all of a sudden it's like singles match, completely different ball game. I was like, I was like I was in another dimension, man. Like, so how from your perspective, what was that like for you?
I felt nothing, and you'll understand why I'm saying this as soon as I explain it. So, it was the first ever Brainbuster show, which is a show in Werribee. They've had 2 shows now.
Yes, Brainbuster Pro Wrestling.
Yep. Brainbuster Wrestling Project, I think, is what they officially go by, or something like that. I came out. I was built as, I think it was like 10'3", 623 pounds or something like that. I was a huge guy then. So I was pumped up. I got the crowd into it. We were all excited to see my first singles match and who I would face. And out comes good old Juggernaut Jay Hunter.
Oh, okay.
So I tried hitting him a few times. Didn't work. I tried to brainbuster him, which was a bit of a silly idea in hindsight. And I got thrown around. You have to try. I got thrown around. I got dropped on my head. I got thrown out of the ring, thrown into the ring post, and the ref had to stop the match. So that was my singles debut.
I mean, look, At the end of the day, you can say you survived.
With a few battle scars, but yeah, I survived.
But
Actually, just because I'm so sorry again. I just love talking. As soon as I start, I don't stop. I'm an introvert that doesn't stop talking as soon as he starts. It's funny because that was my first singles match. And then we go to my next singles match. I've had 2 single matches and then my, 1, 2, 3, 4 tag matches. I could have just done that basic math. Oh my God. So my second singles match wasn't even meant to happen. I went to MXW Battle at the Border, which was the 20th of July.
Yes. The South Australia versus Victoria show, yes.
Yeah. I went to scout the competition. I just went to see who the good eggs are, who the bad eggs are, who me and Belita need to keep our eyes on. And Matt Graves comes out and he's sitting there talking absolute shit about all of the Mildura fans, about every single wrestler that you can think of that was in the locker room. And he looks at me and he's like, get in this ring. So once again, I get thrown into a situation. I got no music, had nothing. For some reason, I had my tights and my vest on. I don't know why. I found competition. I had to let them know who Rey Picante was. And I got thrown around once again. I did a little bit better that time. I actually tried to fight back. So yeah, I got thrown around again. Ended up losing. He had another match against Corvidae. And during that match, he tried to beat Corvidae, and I was lying there dead, like just out of the ring. And I'm like, no, I'm sick of this bad egg. He's a big bully. I jump up on the apron. He forearms the fuck out of me, and I just fall backwards. And Corvidae ends up winning. During the intermission break, he finds me backstage. I was trying my best to hide. I was terrified of this guy. He finds me backstage, throws me against the wall a few times, throws me into the ring, and chokes me out cold. So yeah, good fun.
And then that's his Matt Graves story, which makes me feel great because Matt Graves is actually mad at me currently. So I'm hoping that the paperwork and the doctors and the management can stop that from happening to me.
Who is Matt Graves not mad at? Let's be real.
That's fair. He actually said that to me himself. I said, look, wait until you calm down and we can talk. And he basically laughed and said, ha, as if I'm going to calm down. When have I ever calmed down? And I was like, touche, good sir. Touche. But
now you can be a cheeky plugs. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, the last official question before we get into your plugs and everything else that you've got upcoming, I always end the official questions with a non-wrestling question every time, just as kind of like a little fun fact. And because this was thrown together within about 10 minutes notice, because we were both just bored out of our minds, doom scrolling on the social media, I got nothing, so I'm just sitting here, and I'm just going to spitball it. What is Rey Picante's go-to comfort food?
What is Rey Picante's go-to comfort food?
Yes.
Clearly, you have not done your research. What do you think Rey Picante's go-to comfort food might be?
Well, see, I don't know because I love like Mexican food, and as a whole, I like Mexican food. Individually, spaghetti bolognese is my favorite food. But when I get sad, I want strawberry milk. I don't know why. It's some sort of childhood trauma that when I was getting bullied, I used to drink strawberry milk, and now when I'm sad, strawberry milk just makes me feel better. So and that's a very weird thing because it's strawberry milk. So I'm just thinking, is there any weird sort of ice cream or something like that that's just
Tacos.
Tacos. So it's just tacos regardless. That's fair enough. That's
my diet 24/7. For breakfast, I eat pancake tacos. For lunch, I'll have Vegemite or peanut butter tacos. And then for dinner, I'll have the whole Mexican taco shebang.
Okay, so I actually had a breakfast burrito from Guzman the last time I was in Sydney for one of my eye appointments, and it was amazing. I'd never had a breakfast burrito before. I'd always heard people talk them up. I'd never had a chance, and I was just like, dude, the bacon, the eggs, and then it was just smothered in hot sauce, and I was just, Wow, I was in heaven. It was amazing.
Try a Rey Picante scrambled egg from the microwave breakfast taco.
Microwave tacos? Isn't that how you get food poisoning?
I don't microwave the tacos, I microwave the scrambled eggs.
I mean, I can come just cook them and fry them for you if you like, but...
Everyone says that to me, and I'm like, nah, I cook my scrambled eggs in the microwave.
You know what, Rey Picante? I'm going to try your scrambled egg tacos if I ever get the chance. Just promise me you'll hold me while I'm, like, puking.
I cannot guarantee, because if someone starts puking, then I start puking, and then it's a whole shit show.
Oh, God, we're going to have, like, the scene from Family Guy. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
This podcast has gone off the rails. No, I can see that. I was like, tacos, you know, it's like your whole thing. But I thought maybe, like, you know, some sort of, like, ice cream or, you know, cookies or pudding or... that's okay.
The way I see it, yeah, is why have just ice cream when you could have an ice cream burrito or an ice cream taco?
Actually, you know what? I had this, like, they were crepes, but they were, like, rolled up and stuffed. Like, they were loaded crepes. And I guess it's essentially just a dessert burrito. So, I mean,
Mexico.
Actually, I did have, wasn't Mexican food. It was Spanish food from Spain. But I had this, I don't even know what it was, but I went to this fancy dinner for my 5th year anniversary with my lovely wife. And, yeah, we had this, like, Mexican dessert, and I remember what it was called off the top of my head, but it was super freaking sweet. I felt so sick afterwards. But during the 2 seconds that it took me to eat mine, and then the 5 minutes it took my wife to eat hers, I was very, very much just in heaven.
I don't speak Spanish. Don't ask me to.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can do uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, cinco, seis.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, diez. Hola, como está, Rey Picante. That's about it.
I got a B+ in French when I was younger, but between concussions and everything else, I can't remember a damn thing. So there's that.
French, wait. No, that's German. Never mind. Give me a second. Let's see if I remember it. I know Japanese, like 1 to 10. I know German, possibly 1 to 10. I know Kung Fu styled 1 to 10. I somewhat know English 1 to 10. I struggle with it for some reason. It's weird.
So, like, I started this with comfort food, and now we're just getting weird fun facts with Rey Picante of how many languages can Rey Picante count in?
Fluently 0.
Fluently 0. Touche, my good man. But this is the part of the show where I say, look, where can I find you on socials? Where can I get your merch? Where can I see you next? This episode will drop on Sunday, September 8th. Just keep that in mind so you can plug all of the good stuff.
I'm trying to think about what I am legally allowed to say and what my lawyer might go mad at me for saying. Okay, I'll do my socials first because I'm allowed to say that stuff. So on Facebook, it is Rey Picante pro wrestler. For some, another fun fact while we're doing this, whenever I say Ivan, I always have to do it in like a squeaky voice. It's just because that's what I learned in school. But yeah, so that's, Facebook is Rey Picante pro wrestler. Instagram is Rey Picante _PW. And then I also have a YouTube channel where I'm slowly but surely uploading all of my Rey Picante matches for you guys to relive the journey with me. That is Rey Picante Ivan, and then pro wrestler.
I was actually just checking Facebook because I know that I follow you on Instagram, but I wasn't sure if I followed you on Facebook, and apparently I already am. So there you go.
And then my YouTube as well.
Excellent. And what's the URL for that? Do you have like a username or something? Because mine's like at CIC Pod. Is it just like at Rey Picante or something?
Oh, on YouTube, the little at one.
Yes.
Is Rey Picante _P, capital P, capital W.
Okay. I will try and remember to find this and copy and paste all the links and yada, yada, yada. Do you have any merch at this stage?
I do actually. It's very limited at the moment because I've got my first little batch. I sell them only at the shows I'm currently at. So Alpha shows, I'll sell them. Brainbuster, I'll sell them. MXW, I'll sell them. They are, I can't even remember the price. They're $25 each. I have small, medium, large, and extra large at the moment. I need to go into my calendar to find out where you can actually see me. Because
I mean, I'm sure I can slide him like an extra $10 to post me one.
we can talk about that off the air. We'll see.
I'm currently awkwardly between an XL and a large at this point with the weight loss. It's like I can fit into it because my gut's getting smaller, but because I was born with broad shoulders, it's a struggle.
I hate when that happens.
But where can we find you, Ray?
So I am next going to be at Alpha Energy number, whatever we're up to. I think it's 8 or 9 now. It's 8. I'm next appearing at Alpha Energy 8, which is the 21st of September. Other than that, the weekend after, the 29th, which is a Sunday of September, I'm going to make a sneaky little visit to MXW in Horsham at Collision Course, and I might see what's going down over there. Other than that, I've been saving me dollary dues, and I am possibly planning to pay a visit to a certain Queensland promotion coming up later this year in Nightfall Wrestling Alliance.
Oh, okay. Very interesting.
And if I have me smackaroos saved up, I've heard there's an ECW show coming out soon enough.
Yes, November 23rd.
I might come pay a visit to them as well and see who is a good egg and who's a bad egg there.
I would very much like to meet Rey Picante. Maybe you could bring me a pre-packaged scrambled egg taco. I mean, it'll be dinner time, but that's okay.
It might be a bit bad by the time it gets there. It'll be a bad egg.
Oh, that's awesome. But, I'll definitely remember to post the links to Alpha. And I think I've just got to post a link to just the Horsham show for that one. That's why I haven't been doing it just yet, because the actual ticket sales are a bit weird because it's at a show, not an actual thing.
I can't even remember if it has or not yet.
Yeah, but I'll do
the Alpha and MXW are the 2 for this month.
But if you go up to Nightfall now, I have absolutely zero influence up in the Queensland area. There's some people in Queensland that can't stand me. That's okay. The feeling's mutual. But within the realm of Nightfall professional wrestling, if the powers that be could make Rey Picante versus someone that I know very well, Reese Razel, that would be a high-flying spectacular, and I'd very much enjoy it.
I'm planning on going over there. Whether I'm wrestling or not is up to the bookers and the owners and whoever else wants to have a little say over there.
All I'm saying is just take this little clip and just post it everywhere and be like, hey, Rey Picante versus... # Picante versus Razel.
The other ones I'm looking at, actually, while we're talking about Nightfall, Mr. Joshua Redfield.
Okay.
He seems to be a bit of a bad egg over there at the moment, and he might need a little bit of an attitude check. And everyone knows him, good old Johnny Hardwood.
Yes, I know Johnny Hardwood very well.
He seems to have a bit of an attitude problem as well. So
I mean, can neither confirm nor deny. No, he's a fantastic wrestler though, and worker though is Johnny Hardwood. And I would very much like to see Johnny Hardwood versus Rey Picante as well. I'm just fantasy booking you versus the entire Nightfall roster at this point.
Rey Picante versus 30 people in one match.
Just does the 30-man gauntlet, win or lose, has to take on the next person. Good Lord.
Oh, no, it's just straight up. Even if I lose, the next guy just comes out anyway.
Yeah, just win or lose. It's just the next person in, out.
It's a death roulette.
But is there anyone in particular besides your brother, as we end this though, that you've got your eye on that you want to face in Australian pro wrestling?
Ooh, there's a few. Jordan Sampson.
Yeah. Ooh.
Zane Zodiac.
Oh, dude, I'm such a big fan of Zane Zodiac. When he like took that hiatus slash like semi-retirement, I mean, like obviously more power to him. He had stuff he had to do, but I was so heartbroken because he's been one of the guys that I've been following for a while now in Oz Pro Wrestling. I've like all my little fantasy booking that like I've actually written down properly because yes, I'm that type of person. Zane Zodiac has been in so much of that.
He's amazing. A lot of respect for Zane Zodiac, and I would love to face him. I can guarantee you right now he'll probably be the better man of the night, but I would love to show him how hard I have worked and that I am slowly but surely coming to take his spot. I'm not going to let him give it to me. I'm going to earn it, and I'm going to take it from him respectfully. So he's another one I'm keeping my eye on.
Would definitely be a very big learning curve for Rey Picante to step in the ring with someone of that caliber.
And then you've always got to keep your eye on the gold. So APW, current Legacy Openweight champion, the promoter, John Stop Action. I want that gold. Main character, Mr. Will Walker, just recently won the title. I might come fight for that. MXW tag team titles, Hollywood Gold. Might need to bring good old supercharged Valita over there and take the gold off of Hollywood Gold.
I'd love to see the Let's Go Bros in the MXW tag team division. That tag division is stacked over there.
Yes, it is. But there's always room for a little taco munching party goers who know how to wrestle.
And which with your socials, just before we wrap this up, because I know some people mention it, some people don't. But which one are you more active on between your Facebook / Instagram?
None of the Instagram, 100%.
He's just like, nah, fucking. I'm stalk who I want to stalk.
If you guys want to get in contact with me, don't buy my merch. Instagram.
Don't contact me, but also come book me.
if you want to book me, either Instagram or email, which is in my Instagram bio.
That's the way. That's the way to do it. Excellent. So you're gonna say, like, socials can be really bad, but for networking, which is what it's meant to be for, because it's social networks.
Yeah. Yes, I just need to double check that's definitely in there before I say false information. Give me 1 second.
He just quickly scrambles before this episode goes out next week to make sure that that's like all prim and proper, and he'll just have like the whole resume like sitting on like the pinned post and everything.
I don't think it is on there for some reason. Why isn't it on there? Oh no.
That's okay. We can fix that eventually, but he does have an email somewhere.
I'll quickly open my email for you guys. Give me a second. It's not that hard to remember. It is raypicantepw@gmail.com.
Excellent. Rey Picante. I will try and remember to put that in the description along with everything else. But if I don't,
Please
sorry.
Please don't email me random stuff. That's for
actually no. You know what? I might leave that out just for that simple reason. Just because when I'm like sharing it around on socials.
It's on my Facebook.
He's like, I knew it was on one of them. Okay, so either message him on Instagram or go to Facebook so that you can contact him via email.
Oh man, however you find a way to contact me, come to the shows and see me.
Signal, messenger pigeon.
Just throw a chili up in the air and I'll probably find it somewhere.
No, I'm definitely, when we get a chance, I want to talk to you about potentially, again, as I said, I got lots of medical bills, so I can't do it like in the next couple of weeks, but when I've got the money, if you've still got an XL, I'll definitely chuck you some extra money for some shipping or something. But I thank you for jumping on, Rey Picante, at this ridiculous hour as I'm being a mark and literally just counting down. There's still half an hour before the pre-show to this damn pay-per-view starts, or PLE as they're now called. And
we're still just sitting here talking absolute shit. It's gone off the rails.
That's what this pod's all about, man. That's why the description is ranting, reviewing, and marking up. We just, and every time I've started, I've actually started emailing people and trying to get them on my podcast if I don't know them, going, "Hi, my name is John, blah, 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 blah." And I always describe it as, it was a wrestling podcast, but now my wife is the co-host, even though she's not on this episode and wasn't on the last 2 episodes, but she's technically a co-host, and it's like turned into a pop culture podcast, and now it's just a live podcast. So get fucking like Joe Blow from next door on the podcast at some point, just for the sake of it.
I find it really funny. I just went through YouTube and I don't have you on here subscribed for some reason. Give me a second. It's caught in conversation. Give me a second.
That's the IC part. And like you can follow my personal one if you want, but there's not much on there anymore. A lot of my matches got deleted for some reason. I wasn't the one that uploaded them. They were just in like a playlist, and they're now gone.
Send me the stuff on Messenger after we're done wrapping this up. Find it. This is such a mess. This is what happens when a guy with autism and ADHD meets a professional interviewer with ADHD, and we just sit here and talk.
A professional interviewer.
Oh, God, this is so
I appreciate you, man. We got a good hour and a little bit out of it, so we got to learn about
almost an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, I think I'll trim like 5 or 6 minutes out, like before we went, not live, but before we actually started the interview of just small talk. But yeah, pretty close. By the time I do the intro and outro, it'll be probably an hour 40 for the full episode. So, goddamn. But no, I just enjoy talking, man. Like if there's anything else you want to plug while you're here, fucking go plug it. But I really appreciate you jumping on, man.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you follow Crossfire on everything that he does. I'm not going to try and plug them all because I'm not going to get them all right.
It's fine when I do the intro and outro. There's literally a link tree. Everything is there.
I'm just going to say it anyway because I was like wasting time. Make sure you follow all of my stuff that I said earlier. There should be links in the description as long as Crossfire does this properly. Otherwise, I'm coming for him. What else is there? Buy my merch, $25 at wrestling shows that I am attending. And make sure you guys give this a good reaction so I can come back. We can talk more shit and maybe we can react to some of my matches.
I definitely want to add that to the list of reactions with DPC eventually. We've got a very, very long list of stuff, and it just varies from week to week on what both or either of us are feeling, because sometimes we feel like older matches, sometimes we're in the mood for specific stipulation matches, but I dare say Rey Picante will pop up. Maybe we'll just have to wait, but when we eventually in 2 or 3 years or however long it's going to take, when we get that Valido Rey Picante death match, we'll have to react to that.
Look, that'll be a good amount of time away. I can't lie to you.
That's fair. But hey, maybe we can bring one on and we can do one with you and Valido. But I know Valido's done one with DPC, but if Valido wants to come on here, hit me up. But yeah, I appreciate you jumping on, Rey Picante.
DPC, stop being a prick. Hit me up. I'll talk shit with you as well. Calling you out right now.
Be like in the blurb, Rey Picante pulls out Daniel Pulcro. This week on Coding Conversation. I appreciate you jumping on, man, and I hope that you have a great night / morning. But thank you for jumping on Coding Conversation, Rey Picante.
You're welcome, team. Thank you for having me. This is my first podcast. Let me know I did well, please.
Oh, we popped his cherry. Reassurance. We popped his cherry. I can't reach my soundboard, unfortunately, with the current soundboard, a freaking setup that I've got because we've rearranged the lounge room. I was going to click like the applause emoji sound. God damn it. We popped right
Actually, I got something better. Give me a second.
We're just dragging this out. I love it.
It's because we have extreme ADHD. Oh, wait. It's loading. Is it actually going to load? Oh, yes. Wait. Oh. Such a long intro. There we go.
Jesus Christ. Thank you for coming on. And I didn't realize that, because for some reason I thought you'd already done something with DPC as well, but maybe I'm just getting confused as well. because
No,
Valero did it, but
I've tried to. He leaves me on open.
there you go. There's a reason. But yeah, before you said you were calling him out, in my mind, for some reason, I thought you had done something, but I don't know, maybe I dreamt it, which would be kind of weird. I don't know. But thank you, Rey Picante, for coming.
Okay,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was King Spicy Rey Picante. I literally just thought of his nickname.
Now you think
now
of
we
it?
do the because apparently that's
I had to do a shit
Rey translates
intro.
to King, Picante translates to Spicy, and if you're listening to this portion of the interview, you would have known that he actually doesn't like spicy food, which is some good old irony for you. Maybe we should start doing a word of the week. The word of the week is irony, because King Spicy can't handle spicy.
And the number is number 8.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode with Rey Picante. And yeah, this intro and outro honestly was just myself and Nova just trying to spitball and work out like the spacing and the logistics of our new setup. And now that I know that everything reaches, next time I do Reaction Wrestling Wednesday, actually, I don't know. If I'm by myself, I'll probably go back over to the corner just because my on-air sign lights up my face for the video. But I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. if it's an audio only, maybe I'll just sit here where I'm sitting. Obviously, you can't see. But yeah, I'm just spitballing right now. Nova's back. She's comfy. I'm pretty damn comfy. I'm no longer sitting on the floor, so that's
a plus.
That's a plus. That's definitely a plus. My sound waves, I think, actually look better than they were looking before. So maybe it's because I got a better posture. I'm
that, and I was thinking
accentuating a bit more.
The way that the lounge room's laid out now, it's more
The
spacious.
wavelengths are kind of
Bouncing.
reverberating a bit more.
You got a wall to bounce off rather than a window now.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Which does make things exciting because, as we mentioned, we are looking at doing a Patreon.
Yes.
So I think
4 different
I
tiers.
spitballed to you, and as I said, keep an eye on the Facebook page because it'll be more eloquent. But what we're aiming to do is, I think we said $5. You'll get early access. So we'll go try and say roughly 48 hours. So obviously, if it's in the can, it'll drop at 12 p.m. Obviously, tonight, as we record this, it's already Friday night, so it won't be the full 2 days. But we'll just say 2 days early access to audio for the $5 tier, which will be called Rogue Soldier, one of my nicknames. Mm-hmm. And then the $10 tier, we had, it's obviously the same. You still get the access, but you then get to ask, like, obviously we do Q&As every now and then, but if there's a specific current topic in wrestling or, it could be pop culture, as long as it's something we watch, like Marvel and stuff like that. But if you have some sort of sports, NFL's coming up, fucking go Birds, go Rams. But you can ask some sort of comment or question for us and we'll address it in the intro of whatever we're doing. That's going to be called, what did I say that was? That's the real main event. Mm-hmm. And then $15 will be the essential, which you'll get access to both of those. Plus, you can actually pick a topic. You can pick either, obviously, I'm currently working, I don't know when it's going to come out because this is just a solo project for a rainy day for when Nova is unavailable, but I'm currently working on a top 10 matches of Macho Man Randy Savage, much like I did for Eddie Guerrero and Triple H. If you do the $15 tier, you can pick a match for us to watch along, or you can pick a wrestler for me to do a top 10 matches, keeping in mind the top 10 matches. If someone pays me to do it, I'll do it. But they'll take me about a month to put together just because I do watch hundreds of matches to make sure.
This is just spitballing here, but we could also maybe look at doing it where they get to pick a theme for like Markapalooza or something.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, like something along those lines.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Possibly pick the next Markapalooza topic or... Yeah, basically, within the realm of what we do, that was the other one. That was what I was trying to do. Like, basically, you can pick the theme for wrestlers versus... And again, it has to be something we're into. You can't just be like wrestlers versus fucking,
The Pussycat Dolls.
Well, hey, wrestlers versus pop bands could be a good one. Or like singers could be a good one. But like...
That'd actually be cool.
No, but yeah, basically, you'll pick a wrestling topic. But keep in mind, if it's a Markapalooza or one of the top 10, that will take about a month to put together just because I literally, and Miss Crossfire and Miss Novalee can kind of, confirm this. I watch literally hundreds of matches so that I can narrow them down. And then once I've narrowed them down, I'll watch those matches that I have written down again to then put them in order. It's a long process, but we will get that done. And then the fourth tier, which I'm going to be called Supernova, because
I'm top
she
tier.
is my Supernova, and she's top tier, and I love her dearly. It'll basically be like all of that, but if we do a watch along, whether it be one that you've picked from tier 3 for the $15 tier, or our Rumble alongs that we've done for the last 3 years now, and we'll continue to do, we will do video content. It won't be the full episode, because you'll get the audio for, full on Patreon anyway, but you'll get the video portion of that watch along / reaction on Patreon specifically, exclusively.
Yes.
And that'll be good, because then we can even take some of those and clip it and make like a little, for example, for YouTube, we want to get some clips. We could take 30 seconds of a bunch of different clips and put it together and be like, hey, use that to subscribe to the Patreon and da-da-da-da. But yeah, hopefully we've done a good job of describing that. But yeah, obviously it'll be written a lot better on the Facebook post once I get it all set up.
It's like we could even do shout outs to people that are the top tier and stuff too. Things like that as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of like I've kind of gone.
It's more personalised.
Yeah, I've kind of talked to DPC about it, and that's one of his things where he has like ones where he'll put their name like in the credits at the end of an episode. He'll say, "Hey, go follow such and such," because they've given him $10 a month or however much it may be. But yeah, if you do. Probably either probably tier 3 and 4, like the $15 one and up.
Yeah.
Maybe the $10 one. We'll see how we go once we put it together. But yeah, we'll give you a shout out, and
it's in the works.
Because I believe you can see the list of who subscribes, and I know that a lot of other wrestling podcasts in the show be like, oh, Colt Cabana does it. He'll be like, oh, my top subscribers for this month were blah 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 blah. Go give them a follow on whatever, right? But yeah, we're just kind of spitballing, but we're aiming for the 4 tiers, and I think that's pretty fair. Is the $5 you get the early access, $10 you get the early access, plus you can ask a question, $15 you can early access, ask a question, suggest an episode, and maybe get a shout out as well. And then that makes sense because it goes to 4 perks, and then number 4 you'll get 5 perks where you get all those 4 things plus exclusive video access when we do watch alongs.
You said doo-doo.
But then in saying that, it won't be very often that we won't do watch-alongs every so often. So maybe we should do the shout-outs for Tier 5 as well. So they'll get Tier 5 plus the odd watch-along when we do them. Yeah. And yes, I said doo-doo again.
You said doo-doo.
Or perhaps even... God damn it.
You did it twice, so you deserve 2.
Can I press them at the same time? Hell yeah.
Oh, that actually was cool. We have to do that from now on. Anyway.
I'm sorry, Rey Picante. This outro has... And it's worth mentioning, like, without revealing what we talked about. I talked to Rey Picante for about an hour after we went off air. I was on the phone to him for 2 hours and 40 minutes. At like...
That's solid.
At like 1 in the morning, waiting for the Bash in Berlin PLE to start.
And I was just sick, just like dead to the world.
But yeah, no, really enjoyed the conversation with Rey Picante. But the Patreon is coming. Hopefully this will be the first thing on the Patreon once I get it set up tonight. I don't know how long it takes to set up and verify and yada, yada, yada.
All that jazz.
But anyway, I'm trying. If this isn't on the Patreon, it'll be very, very soon. I got to work out how all that shit works and whatever. But yeah, it's all a work in progress. It's all a learning curve. I'm not expecting people to give me $20 a month for the podcast or even $5 a month. But I'm just saying, look, it's there. We've got a nice core group of followers, of listeners. I hate using the word fans, so I'm trying to get out of the habit of saying that. Like, surprisingly, John Crossfire has fans, and I don't fucking know how. But the listeners and followers of the podcast
are consistent.
Yes, and we really, really appreciate that. But the song of the week, Novalee, if you want to hit that, and the match of the week, so we can hit the plugs, because I've got them all written down, because there's a lot of plugs for this episode.
So the song of the week for episode 122 was Pedro, Pedro, Pedro. That's how I do it. Pedro, 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 Pedro. Anyway, ADHD. By Jacksamy and Agatino Romero. I think that's how you say it.
Yes.
Remix. And then your match of the week for episode 122 was Nick Nemeth versus Josh Alexander in an Iron Man match at TNA Emergence 2024.
Hell yes. And as discussed in this episode, Rey Picante will be at Alpha, and he wasn't sure if he could announce his match. His match actually was announced either today as we record this or yesterday as we record this, but it's the Let's Fucking Go Bros, the LFGB versus someone. I've already forgotten who their opponents were because I'm a professional, as we discuss in this conversation as well. I am a professional podcaster. Not really, but Alpha Pro Wrestling presents Inevitable Saturday, September 21st, and this will take place at the Pipework Markets. If you go to the markets earlier in the day, the entry fee is only $2. One $2 coin.
What?
And if you pay the $2 entry fee for this amazing markets with their amazing food trucks and DPC, you still owe me some souvlaki when I get down there. If you pay $2 for this markets, Alpha Energy 8 for free, 100%
That
free.
is awesome. Like what?
Throughout the day for $2 for everything else that's at the markets. You do not want to miss that. Obviously, we're going to miss that because we're not from Victoria and we have a wedding on that day, so we have priorities. But 2 wrestling shows essentially in one day. One of them you only got to pay $2 for because they do sessions throughout the day, but they do a consistent amount. I think they do like 5 or 6 sessions.
Awesome
They do quite a number of sessions from what DPC and other Alpha people have told me. So go to that. Even if you don't go to our Inevitable later in the night, which you should buy a ticket because it's going to be awesome because it's a quote unquote main show. But $2. Even if you do nothing else at the markets, $2 to watch some wrestling. How do you go wrong with that? Like honestly,
That's pretty awesome. What wrestling show do you get to go to these days that cost you $2?
In saying that,
Like,
next weekend
seriously.
as we record this, there's wrestling that's going to be coming here for free, and I'm not interested in the slightest.
Yes.
But that's another story for
But
another
guess
day.
what?
This is quality
Guess
wrestling.
what? You have to pay like nearly $25 just to get into the show. So
This is quality wrestling for $2.
yeah, you're not paying an entry fee of like $25 to $50.
Mr. Star. Shout out to Birdman. Love Birdman. He's so cooked in the best way possible. And speaking of Victoria, I'm going to leave that in. I don't give a fuck. Speaking of Victoria, MXW, Sunday Chefs, Sunday Sesh. Say that 5 times fast. MXW Sunday Sesh.
Yeah, the Sesh.
Sunday, obviously, hence in the title, October 20th.
20th.
That's the day before my dirty 30. I'm getting old. October 20th, MXW Sunday Sesh at the Sept in Mildura. It's actually a lot easier to get to Mildura from here than I realised, but again, I'm busy that weekend.
It's just giving me Sandy Cell's she shells.
She's how she's hot. How now, brown cow. Over the teeth, tongue, and the lips. Hallelujah. Do those fucking Ron Burgundy exercises. My God. MXW Sunday Sesh, October 20th. The link is in the description. And then, 6 days later, the big one, the one that I can't stop talking about, and I'm more excited about this event than I am for my own birthday. I'm sorry. I know Nova Lee wants to make my 30th special, but this is just the way my brain is wired. This is just how I am. Professional wrestling, Emma Butler Memorial Show. Miss Nova Lee, I believe you have a second row ticket?
Yeah.
Yep. So Miss Nova Lee's going to be there watching,
Coming up in
cheering
the
and
world.
booing as a fan. Going to take her,
I will be a plant.
she's going to take
I
her
don't know.
gear, brother, just in case, as in
Yeah,
cue
you never
cards
know.
and whatever, because you
You
never
never
know.
know.
But I will be doing lead play-by-play alongside Johnny the Joker, who will be on commentary. I don't know what to expect from that, but I am very, very excited. It's going to be wild. It's going to be very wild. And not to pull the curtain back too much, but it's a wrestling podcast. I want to give a special shout out actually to Johnny the Joker, aka Scary Dave from Tomorrow Radio. He's a very good mate. He's going through some shit, and he's still putting everyone else before himself. So I just want to say much love to him, and I cannot wait to work with him come October 26th. But and then carrying on from that, as I said, there's a lot of plugs in this outro. So I'm really sorry if this is starting to wind on, ladies and gentlemen. But we're still going to be under 2 hours, so that's all right. ECW, Extreme Capital Wrestling, A Hard Day's Fight. ECW, November 23rd. I'll be there on commentary as well. Lead play-by-play. Nova Lee will be there, ring announcing, possibly on commentary. I don't know what they've got planned. Yeah. And then the final show not for the year, the final show for this podcast, ICW have a show on December 7th, which is Clash in the Capital, which is now kind of overtaken as the biggest show of the year now that, CPW is closed. But tickets are not on sale for that yet. But November 30th, MXW All for One 2. Still very confusing because the show is All for One and it's the second installment. So is it All for 1, 2, or is it All for 2, or is it All 2, 4? I don't know. Makes my ADHD brain go fucking crazy because there's too many numbers. But they're bringing over international superstar Bobby Fish, who honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the guy, especially out of the, Undisputed Kingdom. I'm a very big Adam Cole fan. I'm a very big fan of I'm not behind Kyle O'Reilly, a very big fan of Kyle O'Reilly, but especially in the Undisputed Kingdom, where we had, I should say Undisputed Era, Adam Cole obviously was my favorite, but in the Undisputed Kingdom, where they merged the Kingdom and the Undisputed Era together, we had Matt Taven, Mike Bennett. I'm a very big Matt Taven mark. But no, there's still a very big get for MXW. Sounded like a very big backhanded compliment, but I'm just being honest. I cannot wait to see what the talent that get to work with him learn, because no doubt he is a supremely talented professional wrestler. And they're actually announcing, I believe this weekend, as this podcast is dropping. By the time this drops on Sunday, it might even already be out. But they're announcing in the next day or two, as we record this, who Bobby Fish's opponent actually will be for that show. And obviously, it's in Geelong. I wish I could go, but I was, trying really hard to go. And then now I've got yet another eye appointment coming up on the 11th of December. And then I've got Clash in the Capital the week before. So that's too much traveling, too much. Nova Lee, I don't even know if she's going to come to Clash. We're just going to play that by ear, depending on how healthy it's getting closer, just because traveling 3 weeks out of 4 isn't isn't very fun, to be honest. But yeah, I applaud you guys if you have the means to get here to do it. They're going to have the Rumble. They're going to have some banger matches. Richie Taylor has been announced as being in action. Maybe it's going to be Richie Taylor versus Bobby Fish. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. That would actually be cool.
Match.
But Zane Zodiac and Jason Crash, they're brothers. Jason having a bit of a attitude towards his older brother as of late. Be interesting to see where that goes. Jason Crash having some issues / teamed at points with Misfortune as well. The Cooters have gone from being the most hated people on the roster to some of, if not the most loved people on the roster. And everywhere's Cooter country, but Geelong especially will be Cooter country. So I'm very excited. JP Banford actually won the MXW Sen title at an Adrenaline Pro show. Some good cross-promotion there. So God knows what he's going to do with that title. Hollywood Gold, the director, and I can't think of his title. His tag team partner off the top of my head. My God, I'm a professional, I swear. Obviously, me and DPC just reacted to Wrestling with Autism with the director on the What If It's Cool YouTube channel. Very fun. They're defending the tag titles. There's so much stuff. I have it all of these dates written down. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shows over 5 dates. Because again, September 21st, 2 shows, 1 day. The first one being $2. I cannot stress that enough. But yeah, I've got 6 shows to promote here.
Dang.
On this episode. So on this rapid fire. Alpha Pro, September 21st. Both shows. Earlier in the day, later at night. Check their socials for all the times. MXW, October 20th. ICW Central West, October 26th. ECW, November 23rd. MXW again, November 30th. All the description, all the links will be in the description. But speaking of the description, check out both of our link trees for all the socials involving this podcast. Check out my link tree for the GoFundMe if you're that way inclined. As I said, we're not struggling as much, but it's getting a bit tough with some of these appointments, which is another reason why we're thinking of doing the Patreon. You know, it is what it is. We're not going to beg for a handout, but it's there. It's there. Amazon wish list, if you're that way inclined, it's there. But the Pro Wrestling Tees, we did just drop a new podcast shirt, as mentioned. Nova Lee has a shirt as well. Actually, a couple of shirts, because you got Mr. and Mrs. Crossfire shirts on there. There's two different Mr. and Mrs. Crossfire designs, but there's an actual Nova Lee design on there, designed by @Crossfire_graphics, wink wink, which you can find in that link tree as well. Get caught in the crossfire of quality designs at a quality price. That's the little tagline I've got on my Fiverr account, which I can't even remember if I've added that to my fucking link tree yet, but it's all there. Everything you need to know is there. Is there anything else we need to add before we wrap this up, Miss Natalie? I'm trying to keep this under 2 hours, but I've just got all this information that I've got to cover, and I'm just ranting at this point.
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty much it.
This went way longer than it should have, but this is what happens when I get all this information from, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 different companies.
Yeah.
But thank you to King Spicy, Rey Picante, who doesn't like spicy. And I think I'll just end this by saying, Pedro. I am the essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And you guys were just caught
in conversation. Shaka laka laka.